Ready? Come on, guys. Hike. And we're off to the races, folks. So, you are with the WoofDriver. We're at LUMS Con. It says horseback, so heads up. So, a little bit of a different, come on, a little bit of a different configuration here today. Because, again, I'm running with just Chris. Chris is my wingman and my co-pilot today. Usually you're used to seeing Jimmy, and we got the big bike, or in the past, it's been Rhett, or some of the real early WoofDriver days. Come on, guys. Woo! A little bit of rough ride through here. Definitely a little bit of rough ride. And probably a great trail for the scooter, or this rough board as I'll call it, instead of the big bike that we usually do. So, and that's what we're trying to do, get the dogs to as many cool places, new places. Lola, because he's new at this, would have gotten a little confused turning around, because, especially because he's got 2 tethers on today, and so does Lola. Got some uphilling, Crispy. Ready to go for a ride. Got to walk this up, no traction. You can see, this isn't for the faint-hearted. This is more of a mountain biking trail. It's perfect for the rough board, because it's narrow. See how sometimes I can come towards the dogs, and my experienced dogs are not fearful because they feel that white pipe. That's a safety pipe. Let them know I'm getting close, and move out, move out. There's plenty of tether for them to move back and stand clear. Oh, we got horses behind us. Let's go. Sorry.
With WoofDriver. Boarding with WoofDriver. Boarding with WoofDriver. Boarding with WoofDriver.
I'm having more fun than on the big trails. I mean, this is just awesome. Boy's a good girl.
Boarding with WoofDriver. Boarding with WoofDriver.
This is what we should have been doing years ago, Chris. This is fun. So right now we're on a trail called LUMS Pond Trail. And we got to see some horses actually. I don't know if the camera that I'm talking to you on picks them up. They were behind us. And I talked about how the dogs are a little apprehensive sometimes when we get around horses. I mean, they get very excited and they feel vulnerable sometimes, especially even around other dogs that are excited by them or aren't properly trained to be around other animals because they're tethered to a bike or a leash, if you will. Even if you're just walking them and you come across horses or other dogs, sometimes you'll notice around certain dogs or around certain animals, certain horses, the dogs become really excited. And it's usually picking up on the energy from the other animal. So the horses we just came in contact with were very mellow and okay with the dogs, probably because they either are exposed to a lot of dogs, grew up with them, whatever. We went to these trails just now. They're like mountain biking trails, and quite frankly, that's why I have a rough board. I mean, it's wonderful to train the dogs on it. When I say train the dogs to wolf drive, the fur wheel, to basically urban mush. This is a great unit to do it on. The scooter, of course, has been customized and modified for what I do, but it teaches them to run safely.
Rough boarding with WoofDriver.
I used a device like this, scooter, if you will, that's got electric power, to teach the dogs that it's okay to run next to a wheel. It's not going to hurt you. And they get used to it. And a testament to that is all my dogs, obviously. And if you watch my series on training Lola, Lola's my newest dog. She's right on my left side. She's the smallest one, the smallest dog one, or the smallest one as it is. She's actually the same weight as Jag and Chase, which are actually the two dogs on my right, the two white dogs. But her build is a little more petite, if you will. So she's got a lot of muscle, but now they're pulling. They are. So I trained her. I did a whole training series on how to train her. We're working on editing those videos now, and by the time you see this video, it should be released on my WoofDriver YouTube channel. Remember, I'm about the only one out here doing this kind of stuff that is at least sharing it and broadcasting it sometimes live in Facebook, Instagram, have pages on Twitter, and of course YouTube. This is what you call a free ride, folks. I'm letting the dogs do all the work to wear them out, actually. That way we just stay out of the dog. I don't know if he leashed him up. Sometimes people feel, oh, my dog's friendly, we'll be fine. But I don't like to take chances if we don't have to. And that was an easy turnaround. And you see the white pole can touch the dog and teaches them to back off, but go in the direction I'm going. Giving them some sled dog commands. It's actually a cool day. This is probably one of the coolest days we're gonna have for a while. We're getting towards summer here. We're, I don't know, a week or so away from summer. And all next week it's going to be in the mid-80s. I don't know what the humidity level is going to be. I'll find out. We might start a night runs because it's going to start getting warm. But today was in the 50s. It might have been in the 40s when we started, when the early morning hours. Now, right now it's probably in the low 70s. So I'm going to let the dogs go through the puddle of water. The water's relatively new, it's not stagnant. Come on, guys. It'll help cool them. And cool their pads off. And again, that's why I'm on a vehicle like this. It can go right through the water, electric and all, built for these kind of trails. Now my cameras are not
super strong. They're as strong as we can make them, but I mean, they're bouncing around. You're getting a up close and personal view of what we're doing here, and it's just simply awesome. Hey, love this, man. Really cool. Perfect for this vehicle. So we got about 2.6 miles in. So right now, with about 2.64 miles in, we are doing great. Most importantly, dogs are doing great. We had a couple incidences. I dropped the phone. We ran into some horses. We had the dog off leash, but everything's going really well. And to be expected. Kind of cool because we've got puddling water. It's been really wet all along the East Coast lately, and it's fresh water, so safe for the dogs to drink and to travel through. Get it on their paws, and at some point they might even lick it off, but it's perfectly safe. If the water was stagnant, I've got something called bee gross water. Blue, green, rusty, orange, stagnant or smelly water, don't mess with. See how that went up that hill real nicely now? Kind of push Chase a little bit to the right because it was letting him know the surfboard, what you probably call a surfboard part of this, the white vinyl tube, a plastic tube, it's just PVC pipe. And it's soft, very pliable, very giving. See over? Perfect to nudge the dogs over to let them know, hey, you're getting close to the wheel. Because they know where it's at. They trust me, of course, tremendously. Again, Chris is leading the way because Jim couldn't be with us today, and quite frankly, we couldn't take the bike down this kind of trail. This is made for a mountain bike or a scooter setup like I got here. Again, I call it the RuFF board. It's an electric scooter, totally customized and modified. Unfortunately, a lot of people ask me, well, what's the name of it? It's called a bike e-board, but they don't make them anymore. They sold out to a company called Lyric Scooter. And Lyric went out of business, but when they went out of business, someone started to make a deal with them. And I bought a bunch of them because I use them for training dogs, of course. And I want to always be able to, I can modify everything on it. We have the capabilities for the electric. I don't need any of their electric components, even though it comes fully electric and I'll use it. But when their stuff goes bad, I use higher end parts that I've become familiar with and my team has through the team that builds our customized dog power go-kart. We run into people everywhere, and the dogs are so good with people, and Lola's getting to learn them. She's still young yet, but she doesn't have a bad bone in her body. There was a dog park down there, and the dogs got really excited from the scent, and we're fine in a dog park, but I'm just worried about the other dogs being fine. So we usually go the other way just to make sure everything's copacetic. And we're getting our miles. The dogs are loving life. They don't need to mingle with any other dogs right now, and all is great. Now, a little muddy here again, so I gotta go through this kind of fast. Good boys and good girls. It's kind of nice for the dogs to get in their pads because they get to wet them. They emit heat through their pads, almost a sweat. They almost sweat through there. Not quite as efficient as a human, but it's one of the ways they cool off. And if you can submerge them in water, it helps them cool. I'm trying to move at a brisk pace because I don't know how many miles we're going to get. I'm going to try to loop this thing twice, but I don't know if that's going to be possible. And we might even actually get more mileage than I thought. We might find more trails, but it does seem to be a little crowded in some areas. We ran into the horses. I think the trailer we pulled up on was the horses just leaving. So I think we're in good shape with that. Again, the horses weren't a problem, but if you come face to face with them, it's a little harder to pass them on a narrow trail like this. We can do it, of course. My guys are fine. It's just the horses and how they're trained, and the ones we've run into so far today have been awesome. Right through it, buddy. So, getting back to the story, if you hadn't heard, this is what they call a bike e-board. I'm going back about 15 years ago, probably, that it came out. And I was able to score some of the first times it was available, the first maybe run or whatever. And I got 2 of them. And to this day, this is the original one I have. And I've changed, no, I don't think, I think I changed the battery system. Again, we have the capabilities of addressing all the motors and batteries and all these different vehicles that I use because we work with a team out in Utah that builds all my big equipment. And they keep us apprised of the latest technologies with batteries and bike motors. And Christy, who is my wingman and co-pilot today, he's a master electrician by trade, so he's learned, he knows all about electric. Easy guys, G. But he likes to tinker for his entire life. He's like a child, with electronic components and motorcycles, bikes, and everything. So he's become a resident expert on this, and he can actually change the motors and the battery systems and everything. So that's how I'm able to do all the stuff I do, with electric bikes and tricycles, all my dog-powered go-karts, and dog-powered rigs, dog-powered electric rigs. How cool is this? I mean, dogs are just really phenomenal. And they're really loving it. Dogs are so happy when they can run, especially on a trail like this, where there's a lot of sense. But when you have ground like this, where it's not hard surface, it's not concrete or blacktop, it holds the scent of other animals and everything that's been through here. What's so cool about that is it motivates dogs. They're looking for scent of foxes that have come through, other dogs and rabbits and birds. And Huskies, by trade, are prey driven, so they're hunters. And we're not going to let them catch anything, but they don't know that. And they're going to go for it. They're going to try. Of course, they're tethered here. They can't catch anything, but I've had rabbits come close and get caught and just get like a deer in the headlights and come right back at us sometimes, and I gotta blow the dogs off. But few and far between, but quite comical. Luckily, I haven't had an incident where they've actually gotten it on the bike. They have come in contact with other wild animals. Only free range, I can get them off the wild animals, but sometimes the wild animals stumble right into them.
Rough boarding with WoofDriver.
G. So G's a sled dog, man, and it's telling him what direction to go. And we're trucking through here pretty good. The dogs are all fired up and excited again. The ground holds so many different scents because it's porous. Unlike blacktop, you can imagine water. The ground usually soaks it up, and blacktop or concrete, the water rolls off. So if an animal would scent, spray it with its body, pee on it, whatever, mark it, it would, the ground's gonna hold that for a while. So the dogs get fresh, kind of like, get to smell the scent and get excited by it. Because once again, I said it before, but they are hunters. Huskies are hunters. Prey driven. What's that? Left? Okay. Ho. Come on, come around. Come around. Come on, guys. Hi. So what we're going to try to do, we're in search of more mileage, as usual. So we're going to try to backtrack a little bit because we're running out of mileage here, and that area is the dog park. It's kind of cool, it's off leash. Before the dog park, I mean, you can walk through the woods with your dog off leash, which is so awesome. But when we're on the bike like this, my dogs feel, any dog would feel a little apprehensive and a little vulnerable because, again, they're tethered to something and they can't defend themselves if they attack. So chances are they're not going to be attacked. Probably, hopefully. See? Hopefully people aren't going to have aggressive dogs off leash. You never know. That's why I don't go to dog parks much, but sometimes that's people's only option.
Rough boarding with WoofDriver.
Wow, this is very cool. Hello guys. How cool is that? .71 miles.
So folks, this is WoofDriver. I mean, it doesn't get any sweeter. See how
Rough boarding
if the dogs
with
weren't
WoofDriver.
exercising and we're all huddled this close, there would probably be a little bit of contention because they're territorial in certain respects. They're pack-oriented, obviously, but they're usually not up in each other's grill. Now, I know sometimes some dogs, like even mine, Chase and Jag, Zorro, and them, they'll lay together, lay on top of each other, especially when they're younger. As they get older, sometimes they want their distance. Some dogs bond really strong, but when you put 4 dogs together like this, it's going to be a little harder to get them to bond so they're so close to each other and they're not, you know, trying to establish pecking order during their close encounters. But when they're tired, they're less likely to have confrontations. Again, you're less likely to have problems at home. Remember, a tired dog is a good dog. And that's the truest thing I think anybody can say, or any law will say, any law of dogs, any rules with dogs, any advice with dogs. So that's what I'm doing here, I'm tiring him out. But, hey, good boy, but I'm enjoying it. I don't just take him out and tire him out, I take him out because this is an adventure for the dogs and for me and for everybody involved. And it's a bonding moment for nature and for us. And we work through problematic situations. I mean, I lost my phone, the dogs have to learn to be patient. I left the water bowl somewhere, the dogs need to learn to be patient. So we make it through our hardships together. Sometimes I've got to take the dogs off leash. That's why I'm wearing the orange vest that you always see me in. Because sometimes we can't make it through certain areas without walking them through. And sometimes my co-pilot or wingman has to help me get the bike or the dog-powered go-kart through, and I just move on with the dogs and meet them after they get it through, etc. So depending on the predicament, the situation, hey, no, good girl. Now they're getting a little
with WoofDriver.
antsy, waiting here, especially her. She's the youngest, she's the newest to the wolf pack, and she's very excited. She's doing her stuff. Any luck? So we've got walkie-talkie communications too. We got fairly good reception. I've got satellite communicators, all kinds of. Yeah, nice work, buddy.
Rough boarding with WoofDriver.
This is a labor of love, and it's become my profession. And I'm lucky I can do this. I mean, my work allows me, what I do for a living allows me to have enough time to run the dogs and to explore with them, to go to places that we go all over the East Coast. And quite frankly, it's where I choose to spend my money to do this because it's remarkable. And I get such a high out of it. I get a high out of seeing the dogs.
Rough boarding with WoofDriver.
Watching nature coexist, work together. You know, watching the dogs enjoy the sights and scents and sounds of where we're at, seeing new places, and the reaction when they see deer, when they see other animals on the trail, whether it's a turtle or it's a duck or it's a possum or it's a raccoon or it's another dog. I mean, I enjoy
rough boarding with WoofDriver
and the enjoyment from them. Because they usually get excited and, oh, Dad, look what I found. Wow. And they just savor the moment. Unlike sometimes with humans, we forget the simpler things in life, and you know, we're on our phones. I'm guilty of it too. I'm not saying it's anything bad, but sometimes I miss the easy stuff. searching for the complicated stuff on Facebook, you know, when the world is right in front of us. You know,
Rough
immersive
boarding
nature
with
like this. It's really
WoofDriver.
incredible. And this cycle of the day is really incredible. When you think about the morning, the birds are singing, and some of the animals are just waking up, and some of them are just going to sleep, the nocturnal ones. So as you go through the day, you might see different animals appear. And of course, as you get to the evening hours, the nocturnal animals come around. And that's why I use infrared and different kinds of lighting systems and cameras, so I can see them, because the dogs pick up on the
Rough
scent.
boarding with
But they
WoofDriver.
don't always, I don't always know what it is that they're seeing or checking out. But now with my night vision goggles,
And depending on lights, I do find out what they're looking at. So it's kind of cool.
going through some mush. Come on. Good boy, Chase. How cool is this? Good boy, Chase.
Rough
Good boy,
boarding
Jag.
with WoofDriver.
Good girl, Lola. Good boy, Zaro. I love the smell, the honeysuckle. Which way, Chris? Gee.
Rough boarding with WoofDriver.
How you doing, old man Zorro? Good boy. Good boy, Chasey. Good boy, Jackie. Good girl, Lola.
Rough boarding with WoofDriver.
So backtracking again, try to clock some more mileage for the guys. I'm going to tell you what we're doing right now. If I can check my watch enough, I don't know, we're over 5 miles. I do know that. And definitely cooling down. It's been a cool day. Well, I'm in a sweatshirt.
WoofDriver.
It's cooling down now. These are so cool, these little puddles we crawl. Good for the dogs. Again, to get their pads wet. As long as I can keep my balance. I'm talking good stuff.
Rough boarding with WoofDriver. Rough boarding with WoofDriver. Rough boarding with WoofDriver.
Again, this is rough boarding and rough riding, no pun intended. This is,
Rough boarding
wow,
with
to say the
WoofDriver.
least. This is actually a little bit tamer part of the trail. It's drier. The mud is what creates some of the problems. But as you saw, I can navigate that pretty well in this vehicle. And if I get too close to the dogs, they feel the white pole and they know to back off a little bit. Kind of like the teamwork I also talk about. Look how good Lola's doing. She's so confident of herself
Rough
and
boarding
of the
with
equipment and the
WoofDriver.
other dogs and me. She's feeling great because she's had nothing but great experiences on here. And it's been a couple times, I mean, the scooter gets too close to her and she's comfortable with that because it's all been good experience. It's like a child. The worse you make the situation, the worse it is.
Rough boarding with WoofDriver.
And they're eating this up because they're getting all the scents from the forest and the animals that habitate here. I'm like, this is cool, Dad. We can't quite let them run free here, even though they'd be under control. Well, let's show a little news for it, but the boys are perfect, but we're not doing that today. These grounds aren't designed for that. I don't rent these like I do the
Boarding
farm.
with
So,
WoofDriver.
but this is another kind of activity that's just simply awesome. Thank you. Nope, stay. Nope, good boy. Good boy.
Really on a leash.
Okay, yeah, they're not either. Stay.
If you're off the leash, you'll be fine.
Yeah, same with them. And if you saw what he said, he's not
Boarding
too friendly.
with WoofDriver.
Off leash, and that's on leash, and that's common because again they feel vulnerable because they're on a leash. They can't defend themselves. So off leash, they're more friendly because they're more confident in themselves. It's simple dogmatic. But that's a good experience. And as long as he can control her, I can always control my guy. As you see, only one I worry about is little Loli. I think he's so
Rough
new,
boarding with
and I don't
WoofDriver.
want to get her scared of anything. That she doesn't need to be getting scared of. The boys are fine. They know the routine. She's learning the routine. It's a little difficult for me sometimes, some of the terrain as you saw with the mud. Some of the mud would catch my tires and I have to balance myself. I have to try not to swerve. You see how the bar helps
Rough boarding
manage
with
the dogs, keep
WoofDriver.
them safe. In case I do come into their lane. See? See?
Rough boarding with WoofDriver. Rough boarding with WoofDriver. Rough boarding with WoofDriver. Rough boarding with WoofDriver. boarding with WoofDriver.
Folks, this was just probably going to wrap it up here. A lot of people are starting to show up, I guess, for the weekend events, barbecue, picnics, that kind of stuff. So right about 8 miles. Took a licking and kept going ticking. How awesome is this? I know I keep saying that, but truly epic out here on the trail.
Boarding with WoofDriver.
And when the dogs enjoy themselves and get to see areas they've never seen and experience this kind of stuff, it's truly remarkable. Jeez, man. 8 miles, we did pretty good.
RuFF boarding with WoofDriver.